Hi, it is the Human Operating System time. This channel is for education and technology. In this channel, we investigate the what, why, how of ancient Chinese culture, ancient traditional Chinese martial arts, and ancient Wing Chun Kung. Today, I'd like to share with you that it is a must if one wants to study traditional Chinese martial arts or Wing Chun. One needs to have a clear thinking and also don't be too quick trying to be an expert. The reason why I'm sharing this today is because in the era today, in the current situations, after Xi Xiaodong challenged the traditional Chinese martial art in China, you can see many people act like expert with the goal of putting down traditional Chinese martial art. On the other hand, you got people like Lu Gang, which I shared a few days ago in my video channel, who fought Xi Xiaodong, and many Tai Chi so-called grandmaster who play expert and pushing traditional Chinese martial art in some kind of mysterious way, magical way. Okay? So what is these two types of people contribute the traditional Chinese martial art culture? Well, it is wiping up the traditional Chinese martial art culture. In today's world, what is the truth seems to be not important. The important is as soon as one dare to be acting like expert and make enough video, tell enough lies in videos, in the media, then whatever one say is the truth. Today I'd like to share this with you is because one needs to be really objective when it deals with technical stuff or history. So as in this channel, we want to know what, why, how, who. We want to know the evidence in the history, and we also want to know the scientific verifications. So it's like a judge. We don't want to push people into become a criminal if he have done nothing wrong. And even if you want to charge a person on what he's doing wrong, you do it accurately. Not just based on what we like. It's like in Banana Republic, okay? Now, the reason I'm sharing this today is because this morning somebody posted in the Art of Wing Chun study group, which is my group for the study of Wing Chun, serious study based on evidence and science, a video. And that videos show some demonstrations of 1930s martial arts. And in the video, the person, the guy who make that video, make a broad claim. Make a broad claim saying that based on the demonstrations film of the 30s he put in his video, that is the evidence that Kung Fu already watered down, not really practical in 1930. Okay? So he took some old videos of the group demonstrations and said that that is the evidence that Kung Fu already watered down and not really practical in 1930. And after I tried to reason with this friend who put the video there, after a while I took the entire thing out because it is unreasonable. When people don't listen, don't look at the evidence, it is unreasonable. So I took it out. I asked people, say, well, if you don't like, leave the group. Because the group is for serious. If you want to study, you need to have evidence of the history and science. Not just argue for argument's sake. How the world is one using some data point and make a conclusion and make a broad claim on this is the evidence Kung Fu already watered down and not really practical in the 1930s. It is just 6 months ago in this channel, I present what happened in 1930s, where you have groups of people who like today's Tai Chi movie things, doing the performance state type of stuff, like in the stage performance type of stuff and magical stuff. And at the 1930s, there's a group of martial artists leading by Grandmaster Ma Li Tang want to clean those things up. Okay? So this group of people is the group which have fought, challenged, and so forth. 6 months ago, I presented, and actually, Ma Li Tang is the grand student of, is the student of Sun Yat-sen, the fathers of modern China's bodyguard. Okay, so Ma Li Tang is the student of Du Xingwu. Du Xingwu is the bodyguard of Sun Yat-sen. Sun Yat-sen is the father of the modern China who overthrown the Qing dynasty. Read it in the history, okay? And the group of people is those liberationists, okay? So they want to reform, like Ma Li Tang and friends want to reform their own thing because they say, well, all this garbage of magical stuff and so forth. Okay? Now, does this video, the guy whoever make the video today, which I mentioned, which I saw, on making the broad claim of, based on a few demonstration film, that saying that there is the evidence of Kung Fu already watered down, not really practical in 1930s? Did they know? Of course he doesn't know. The second thing, which today I brought it up. Why don't you guys go have some real video of the Choi Lei Fat of Fat San do in 1930? Well, let me share with you. This is Grandmaster Cui Zhong of Choi Lei Fat. So in 1932, he was chosen, Choi Lei Fat brought the Choi Lei Fat student to fight in the, or to participate in the Japanese war, okay, the war against Japanese. And over here, you can see that they actually tailor their techniques to against the Japanese rifles. So they tailor the way how they use the sword to against the particular Japanese rifle. Okay? So did that guy who do that video know what is going on? See, today there are a lot of young Chinese have no clue how is it like when the Chinese don't have any guns or anything, or rifles or modern weapon, and have to use their knife and to tailor it to fight the Japanese invasion. They don't have ideas. And then they're keeping making this type of broad claim. Oh, kungfu in 1930s is watered down and not practical. Not practical for what? Don't this is a reality in the battlefield? Isn't it real in the battlefield when you need to know that you can die anytime in the battlefield against Japanese, right? On the other side, let's look into mozarkun in Fujian. This book have recorded many things about mozarkun. Does anybody know that the student of mozarkun in the early 1900s, many of them passed the martial, the martial title examinations of the government? They are real deal, okay? And 1930s, like Grandmaster Tang Ka Hong here. Do you think the mojo is watered down stuff? Please take a look, okay? And I'd like to share with you by evidence. This is written in Chinese, okay? The teaching of mojo, the first is breathing, the second is momentum, the third is strength. Black and white writing, okay? I am not a mojo practitioner. This is the early 1900 writing, okay? You know that that is fit to general Qi Ji Guang stuff. So does it fit to this? It is evidence that Kung Fu already watered down, not really practiced, not really practical in 1930s. And also, same book, the mojo have to practice to be proficient with the gokilat, or the 5 parts power. Need to be trained so that proficient with that. Train for 6 to 8 months before one can start train other sets. Didn't just past few days I showed the red boat tools and all those tools for sinking the breathing, or have the deep breathing, and then with the measurable heart rate tracking and the Red Boat banned for the momentum. 1930s in mojo is like that. So you look at the Choi Lei Fat, you look at the mojo by evidence, black and white, and these people, like in Choi Lei Fat, Grandmaster is fighting in the war zone. Why is that making all those kinds of a broad claim? What have zero idea on what is traditional Chinese martial art history and what actually traditional Chinese martial art practice. Is this right? Of course it's not right. This is like pushing speculations, and if you have 20,000 viewers or so forth, then that become real. Whatever he claimed here, oh, by this evidence of this video, that kungfu already watered down, not really practical in 1930s. That is exactly trying to be expert too quickly. And this morning when I tried to reason with this other Wing Chun friends, he told me he is good in found out a hole. What hole? Do you know all about this thing, this data? Do you know how much data is there still? I didn't pull it up. See, every time I pull different data out to show you what is going on. You think not practical and watered down stuff can go up to the fighting the Japanese invasion? Do you think Choi Lei Fat will do that if they don't have the real thing? Do you think this mojo's grandmasters be able to pass their examinations and be able to know that it is momentum, breathing, and strength? And know they need to be proficient with the strength, the 5-part power, gokilat, before one can train the sets or other thing. So, unless one really know what it is, what is the point to make all this thing to just propagate misleading? That's why I leave no room for people who do that in my group. I start the group because I want people to learn properly. If there's a problem, we say there's a problem. But we don't make a big, broad claim on things we have no idea what it is. That just shows that one don't have brain. Okay? Sorry for my language. Have any one of those Xi Xiaodong friend and all this thing who talk bad about traditional Chinese martial arts talk about General Qi Ji Guang? If we go back to 1560s, do you think anybody can go facing the Japanese pirate with a katana sword, samurai sword, running at you without the real deal martial arts or training? See, it is always tuned or trimmed into a certain way with a one agenda. When one guy say, oh, Chinese Kung Fu is no good, then everybody say Chinese Kung Fu is no good. Then they pull any data out and just to say Chinese Kung Fu is no good. And this is Chinese descendant. Now, on the other hand, with the mentality of like Lu Yigang, do you think those type, or the Taiji Lei Lei who fought Xi Xiaodong, do you think those type of mentality, those type of thinking, those type of brain can fight the Japanese pirate in 1560s? Obviously not. So the bottom line is, I never said that Wing Chun is the #1 art in the world. I never said traditional Chinese martial art is the #1 martial art in the world. But can one say it is as it is with evidence? Is that fair for the Grandmaster in mojo? Is that fair for the Grandmaster in Twilight Fight, who fought for the Chinese in the Japanese invasion with their life? By making broad statements like kungfu is already watered down, not practical in 1930, when one have zero idea what is going on. Have one trained it? One know what is going on? One know what is the mojo is training at the early 1900? So, this is what I like to share to public. Sure, many people know that I'm well known that I cannot be a friend. Somebody said that because I always want to be right. Well, make it clear. Is that I want to be right, or I want to be everything stay truthful to the history? What kind of expert is that when one have no idea what is going on? What does this contribute? So is that good to wipe out the entire traditional Chinese culture or Chinese martial art culture or Wing Chun culture? Is that good? See, I'm American. I'm not even Chinese. But Chinese do that. Okay? However, living in the democratic world, we know what is right, what is not right, because we are educated. So, if one wants to be good in traditional Chinese martial art, be an expert, comment or whatever, one better know what one is talking about. Same with in Wing Chun. Or else one is pulling reverse gear. That's why I don't want to be friend with anybody who thinking, oh, because Hendrik, we are friends, so that I can twist the truth, the evidence, because we are friends. Well, many people want me to do that since years ago. But sorry, I'm not going to do that. Why? How difficult it is just to say what it is as it is. How difficult it is to learn, like from mojo, even though I don't study mojo, on what is good there. Same thing. How difficult it is to learn something from MMA. How difficult it is. And how difficult it is to tell the truth. Instead of keeping argue, at the end you know, oh yeah, it's just because of when one know a little bit or have some data, one too quick to be expert. And that's why I part away with people like that. Because it's no good for people. The confusions, the Chinese teaching is that a friend must be straightforward, must telling you the truth. Not a friend, or we buddy, so that we can close one eyes for you doing whatever you want. A friend is upfront. If that's not true, that's... So, I know many might not like this video. And my message is this. Until one know all the data, one study all the data, don't make claim, because one is not expert. And on the other hand, just tell the truth. Whatever it is whatever it is. It's a real easy stuff. So this is to share with you today, okay? That is my direction. People like it or not, that's their problem. I don't want people to watch this video, and I even consider to close down the channel if people don't like the truth and don't like honest thing with evidence.